Kyrie is going to be a free agent this offseason. So much hype surrounds the fact that they may come to New York City. Are you buying it?
I do buy it, man. I do buy it because it's obvious that Kyrie is not happy in Boston.
Happy.
You could see it. He played because he's a killer on the court, but man, he ain't happy. New York. He loved the lights no matter what. He's that Showtime type of dude. I can see him come to New York and lighten it up. And KD seemed like he want to go move forward. I haven't had that conversation with him, but I believe that he would team up with Kyrie, and they would light New York up, man.
Yeah, they really would. KD seems unhappy too. Like, he already came out and said, like, I thought winning the championship was gonna fulfill me. He's won 2, and he seemed just as unhappy as Kyrie.
Yeah, I think in the progress of things, when you start getting, you set a goal, and then you get that goal, and you like, I want more. That's the life of, to me, people who are hungry and who are great achievers. They like, okay, I got 2 rings, but now I want my own team. And it seemed crazy, but it's like, nah, man, if that's your progress, because people say, man, why would he leave that business behind if he does leave, like the business that's in that area? But man, he probably made those connections. And New York is a city, if he come light it up, man, he will light it. Man, that dude playing, I watch his games and I'm like, man, you forget KD can just score any way he wants to, really. And that dude's 7 feet.
Crazy.
It's out of control. And also with KD, it's like, what do you want me to do? Win? If they win this year, like, what do you want me to do? Win a 4th championship?
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to move forward. I want a new chapter in my life. I'm trying to do something new. Now, we don't normally prepare for the show, but since we're going to have a legend like you on, we did a little bit of research. You were a ball boy for the Bulls?
Yes, man.
What year was this happening? Who was on the team? What's it like? Talking to the players?
Dude, that was like, okay, it happened. First of all, my father played ABA for a couple of years, and he played with Rod Thorne, who was the general manager for the Bulls at the time when I got the job. So my father helped hook that job. I just wrote a little letter and got to be the ball boy. I was there when Michael Jordan first came in. In fact, that's when I started, like in '84.
Oh, that's dope.
I was a little kid, man. I got to see Mike. I mean, to the point where, like, I used to get those Air Jordans, like some of his Air Jordans.
The ones?
The ones, and I was selling them at the time. Straight up. Or giving them to my teachers who was like about to give me like strong detentions.
Got some ones for you. What's your size?
Yeah, but I was the visiting team's locker, and Jalen because he played it. He one of the greats. So I was ball boy for the visiting team, so I got to be with like Isaiah. I got to meet Isaiah and Barkley and Magic and Kareem, and it was one of them things as a kid. You like, it's incredible.
What are they asking you to do? What are your duties?
I mean, you gotta wipe the floor. My boy used to joke on me, you wiping up their sweat doing this, but it was like, yo, man, this is my job. I was just grateful to be there. My duties was just to make sure they had their warm-ups on, after they come sit on the bench. But it was an incredible job. I got introduced to a whole world, man. In a way, it kind of helped me to see, man, like, I could reach something, being around like different people. I remember Barkley being really one of the coolest NBA cats I met, like when I was a kid. Yeah.
Well, you've been in the music business for 27 years.
Yeah.
And so much has changed over that period of time. What has been the biggest change for you? And if you were a new artist, would you sign with the label or be independent?
Wow, good question. I would say the thing that's changed most for me is that now when albums come out, it's not as much, the world doesn't get to focus on them as much because it's so many, like, obviously it's Biggie, but when Biggie Ready to Die came out, it didn't matter what color you were, what neighborhood you from, we all was rocking. And when Snoop came out with his solo album or the Chronic Nas, with Illmatic, like,
it was always on Tuesday.
Yes.
You had to go to the
record store. Yes.
I was there every
Tuesday. Read the credits, read all of that.
All the credits, man. Yo. So that experience of taking in music has changed. That's what I feel the most. But if I was a new artist, I would only sign with a label if they was offering me some things that really was like outside of the space that I can create musically. Like some labels now do have like where they place your music in movies, or they can help you with merchandise, and different things like that. But as we see, so many artists are thriving just independently. But I would sign with a label if it was the right deal. I would be smart enough to know this is a good deal.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you have a memoir out. Here it is. Let Love Have the Last Word from Common. What was the process like writing this, and how do you feel about it?
Well, you know, I started this book because it was a lot going on in the world. A lot of people were talking about just all the attacks that's been happening on people and the violence and the divisiveness. And I felt like, man, the way to prevail over that is for us to take care of ourselves and be respectful to one another. More than any government or politics, man, let's spread love to each other. Like, it's just, and practice that in a real way, not in the mushy, like, oh, love. It's just, even though I say love all the time, I'm talking about it being action.
Right.
I'm talking about being an action word and like stretching out to those people who you may not be like you and doing the work to be respectful to one another. So that's what the core of the book, and it's talking a lot about me as a father, some of the mistakes that I've made and had to come to grips with when my daughter told me some things that she didn't like. I talk about therapy in the book, man. I talk about things I feel like us as, black men sometimes don't talk about. So the book is not weighty. It's just real stories that I've experienced, and through those stories, I'm hoping it'll be inspiration for other people.
Well, I have one final question.
Yeah.
You still hooping?
Yeah, I still hoop a little, man, but I be out there and I don't be like as quick as I thought I used to be. And I hoop for a second and my back hurt. I'm like, oh man, when did I get to this point?
I want to make sure before you leave, I personally thank you, because initially getting introduced to you as an artist and becoming a fan of your music, I always appreciated your maturity, your level of responsibility of being a role model, and always being well-spoken for the culture.
Thank you, brother.
That is never to be denied and is never to be overlooked.
Thank you, good brother.
Well put.